The upcoming super middleweight clash between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, set for September in Las Vegas, has the boxing world buzzing with anticipation. This fight, pitting two of the sport's pound-for-pound elites against each other, is a rare spectacle defined by contrasting styles, high ring intelligence, and a significant weight disparity. As the date draws closer, opinions on the outcome remain sharply divided, with fans, analysts, and former fighters weighing in on what could be one of the most defining bouts of this era. The debate centers not only on skill but also on size, experience, and mental fortitude, with both fighters bringing unique strengths to the ring. Terence Crawford, at 37, is stepping into uncharted territory. Known as Bud, he's a former undisputed champion at 140 and 147 pounds and currently holds the WBA 154-pound title after defeating Israil Madrimov in August 2024. Moving up two weight classes to challenge Canelo at 168 pounds is a daunting task, one that has made Crawford the betting underdog for the first time in his 17-year professional career. Despite this, Crawford's confidence is unshaken. He's built a reputation as a cerebral fighter with an unmatched ability to adapt, switching seamlessly between southpaw and orthodox stances and employing pinpoint timing to outmaneuver opponents. His performance against Errol Spence Jr., where he dismantled a formidable welterweight champion, cemented his status as the pound-for-pound number one in the eyes of many journalists and analysts. Crawford supporters, including legendary commentator Jim Lampley, liken him to Sugar Ray Robinson, praising his versatility, defensive mastery, and a ruthless streak that can turn the tide of a fight in an instant. Canelo Alvarez, the 34-year-old Mexican superstar, is the face of boxing and a four-division champion with titles at 154, 160, 168, and 175 pounds. With a record of 61 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, Canelo has faced a who's who of modern boxing, losing only to Floyd Mayweather in 2013 and Dimitri Bivol in 2022. At super middleweight, he's undefeated in 10 fights, showcasing his ability to dominate larger opponents with a blend of power, counterpunching, and durability. Canelo's experience at higher weights gives him a physical edge, but Crawford's backers argue that the Nebraskan's technical brilliance could neutralize that advantage. The tale of the tape offers a mixed picture. Crawford, at 5 feet 8 inches, has a half-inch height advantage and a 4-inch reach edge, but Canelo's natural size and strength at 168 pounds are undeniable. Crawford's relative lack of wear and tear, having fought 25 fewer bouts and 263 fewer rounds than Canelo, could also play a role in his favor. The weight difference is the crux of the debate. Crawford began his career at 137 pounds and has never fought above 154, while Canelo, who started at 139 pounds as a 15-year-old in 2005, has proven his power carries up to light heavyweight, as seen in his 2019 knockout of Sergey Kovalev. Critics like Kovalev, who sparred with Canelo, argue that the 14-pound jump to super middleweight could sap Crawford's speed and agility, leaving him vulnerable to Canelo's pressure. Kovalev acknowledges Crawford's skill but questions how he'll handle the physicality of a bigger man. Similarly, some fans and analysts point to Crawford's lackluster performance against Madrimov, where he absorbed more punches than usual, as evidence that he may struggle against Canelo's relentless style. Tim Bradley, however, dismisses these concerns, emphasizing Crawford's technical superiority. He argues that Crawford's ability to smother, tie up, and rough up opponents on the inside, combined with his understanding of weight distribution, makes him a threat, even at a higher weight. Crawford himself is unfazed by the size narrative. In an interview with The Ring, he stated, "I don't have to stop him. I just have to beat him. I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out." Could it happen? Yes, absolutely. He views Canelo as a smaller, bigger guy, who, like himself, has moved up from lower weight classes, bringing speed and sharpness that heavier fighters lack. Crawford's game plan likely hinges on his elusiveness, using lateral movement to avoid Canelo's power shots while landing precise counters. Former world champion Barry McGuigan echoes this sentiment, suggesting Crawford must avoid a trench war early in the fight, where Canelo's strength could overwhelm him. Instead, Crawford should leverage his speed and ring IQ to frustrate Canelo, making the Mexican chase and tire before capitalizing on openings later in the bout. Canelo, however, thrives in such scenarios. His ability to walk opponents down, absorb punishment, and deliver devastating counters has been honed over years of facing elite competition. Jim Lampley praises Canelo's growth since his loss to Mayweather, noting his improved counterpunching and resilience. Canelo's confidence is evident in his dismissal of Crawford's challenge, claiming he's still the pound-for-pound king despite many ranking Crawford above him. He views Crawford as a welterweight out of his depth, a sentiment shared by some who believe the weight gap, potentially 21 pounds if Canelo rehydrates to his usual fight night weight, will prove insurmountable. Canelo's only losses came against fighters with exceptional movement, Mayweather, or size, Bivol. And while Crawford possesses the former, he lacks the latter, raising questions about his ability to keep Canelo at bay for 12 rounds. The mental aspect of this fight is another layer of intrigue. Crawford relishes being the underdog, a position he's rarely occupied. His mindset, described by those who've spent time with him as unshakably confident, borders on infectious. One analyst, after traveling with Crawford to a fight in Riyadh, admitted to being swayed by his aura, despite initially favoring Canelo. Crawford's belief in his ability to overcome odds is rooted in his career-long habit of taking on challenges others deemed too risky. Teddy Atlas, a legendary trainer-turned-analyst, sums it up: very few people have the appetite for challenging themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy. Atlas sees Crawford as a fighter who continues to improve, even at 37, and trusts his ability to devise a game plan that exploits Canelo's reliance on size. Canelo, meanwhile, carries the pressure of being boxing's biggest star. A loss to Crawford would not only dent his legacy but also fuel critics who claim he's avoided tough fights, like a rematch with Bivol or a bout with David Benavidez. Tim Bradley has publicly urged Canelo not to run from Crawford, framing the fight as a chance for both men to cement their greatness. Jose Benavidez Sr., who faced Crawford in a 2018 knockout loss, also backs Crawford, citing his high boxing IQ and fearlessness. Benavidez believes many fighters enter the ring intimidated by Canelo's aura, but Crawford won't be one of them. He predicts Crawford's ability to adjust mid-fight, switching stances and angles, will make him a nightmare for Canelo. The fight's outcome may hinge on specific tactical battles. If it goes the distance, Crawford's supporters argue his sharper technique and stamina could edge him ahead on the scorecards, especially if he avoids Canelo's power early. A knockout, however, tilts the scales toward Canelo, whose body shots and uppercuts have felled bigger men. Crawford's durability, largely untested at higher weights, will be under scrutiny, particularly if Canelo lands clean. Conversely, Crawford's counterpunching could exploit Canelo's tendency to load up, as seen in moments against Bivol. The question is whether Crawford can maintain his speed and precision at 168 pounds, a weight he's never carried in a professional fight. Public sentiment is split. Some, like Coron Davis, who sparred both fighters, pick Crawford, emphasizing his preparation and adaptability. Others, including fans reacting to Bradley's comments, believe Crawford's age and recent performance signal he's reached his limit. Canelo's dominance at super middleweight, coupled with his experience against larger opponents, makes him the favorite in many eyes. Yet, Crawford's advocates argue that his underdog status and Mayweather-esque style could expose Canelo's vulnerabilities, particularly if the Mexican underestimates him. As September approaches, the boxing world waits to see if Crawford can defy the odds and etch his name among the all-time greats by toppling Canelo, or if Alvarez will prove too big, too strong, and too seasoned for the smaller man. Crawford's parting words capture the essence of the challenge: "That's why we fight the fight." On September 12th, we all going to see if the weight makes a difference or not. Regardless of the outcome, this clash of titans promises to be a masterclass in skill, heart, and strategy, with the potential to redefine both fighters' legacies.